Wednesday, April 5th, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I like to talk about some economic issues today, but also some more larger issues, particularly concerning London and particularly concerning unintended consequences. And what do I mean by that? Well, unintended consequences usually apply to government policy. The war on drugs that was started in the 80s, that's escalated, and drug use has not stopped. If anything, it has increased. The war on terror just keeps getting worse. The war on poverty that was started by the Great Society in the 1960s, that hasn't improved. The war on inelastic currency, which was the main reason behind the creation of the Federal Reserve back in 1913. We were, American voters and the public were sold the idea that their currency had to be more flexible and elastic in times of crisis, and that the Federal Reserve would end all financial crises. And now in London, a place where I've lived for the last 25 years, we have been told that people need to be taxed. They call it a charge, though. They need to be taxed to drive around London because it's going to improve traffic and it's going to be better for the environment. It's the so-called congestion charge. It started about 15 years ago, I think, and and it's based on a small part of central London, mostly, the West End, the City of London. I'm not sure exactly, but it's a small ring around the center of London. It started at £5. I'm not sure where it's at right now, £8 or something. But now they're planning to increase it to £11.50 in about 2 years. But they're also planning to extend, the radius of where you have to pay. They want to extend the hours as well. Right now, it's only from 7, I think, a.m. to 6 p.m. They want to extend it 24 hours or a lot more than now. And they want to extend it around the circular road, which is within the M25. Basically, London is like that, the center. And then you've got like the south, the circular road that goes around London. Then you've got the M25, which is the motorway or highway that goes around all the suburbs of London. And now they're talking about extending that radius from central London to the circular road, the south circular and the north circular line. And the other thing they're saying is that people who drive diesel cars within, from 2019, within that circle, they're going to have to pay about £24 just to drive their car off off their drive or off their garage. People with non-diesel cars will have to pay £11.50. And there's a big debate because 15, 20 years ago, people were told that diesel cars were, better for the environment. They've got all this new technology, blue tech and stuff. And, 52% of people in the UK now own diesel cars. And now they're saying that diesel cars or the diesel fuel is lethal. So who can you believe? And the other thing they've done, which has made congestion and traffic even worse in London, is that they've built these massive cycle highways or bicycle highways around London, and it's completely, made traffic worse. And they've got bus lanes and the cycle superhighways, and normal, cars or black cabs or mini cabs, they can't drive. It's completely, you know, it's actually has the unintended consequence of making traffic and congestion even worse. So, in my opinion, what's happening is we're going back to the Middle Ages. What did they have in the Middle Ages? Well, they had walled cities to protect the cities against invasion. You know, we're not protecting London against invasion. We're, you know, protecting it supposedly against congestion and environmental pollution. But by doing that, we're building a virtual wall around London. You know, they don't have to have checkpoints to make sure that you pay your congestion charge. It's all done electronically now with the cameras, and they take a photo of your license plate, and that's it. So we're going back to the Middle Ages, and it's going to divide London. It's probably going to make London into like a theme park, you know, the middle of, you know, central London, the West End. It's all going to be, you know, tourism. People are just going to go there to see it. Not many, you know, only the very wealthy will be able to live there. The people that work in central London, they have to come from the outside. It's going to get even more expensive. The public transport, the trains and the underground and the buses are not getting cheaper at all. So it's a mess, and it's the unintended consequence of government policy. You know, they told us, drive diesel cars, it's better for the environment. And now they're saying that diesel fuel is lethal. And going back to the Federal Reserve, you know, we were told that there wouldn't be, you know, crisis could be managed now with the Federal Reserve, but look what happened in 1929. Look what happened in the early 30s as a result of the 29 crash. You know, the banking collapse in the US. They, you know, had to have a bank holiday, and then you have to go back a bit, you know, back to the late 70s, early 80s. You know, the interest rates went to 20%. And then you had the dot-com bubble collapse in 2000, 2001. And then the huge subprime collapse, 07, 08, mortgage-backed security, housing bubble. That almost brought the system to its destruction. You know, people were saying, you know, Hank Paulson and others, that we came within minutes of everything collapsing, not only in the US because of the Federal Reserve, but also in the UK because of the Bank of England. So what's my point of this video? My point of this video is that we need to try to rely a lot less on government and central authority trying to manage our lives, our economic activities, and base it more on free market and freedom. All the central banking, you know, regime has done is created a huge moral hazard where bankers, you know, speculators, investors expect, you know, the government or the tax, which actually means the taxpayer, to come and bail them out every time there's a huge crisis, because they're not careful enough, you know, nor prudent enough with their money or their, you know, clients' money or investors' money. And it's the same thing, you know, we need a change of philosophy. The whole public, you know, the public in general, we cannot just let, you know, or think that government and central authority know what's best for us. Look at the big mess now they've created with this diesel thing that, you know, they were encouraging us 15, 20 years ago to buy diesel-fueled automobiles, and now they're telling us that the diesel fuel is, you know, lethal. You know, they're trying to make the traffic flow in London, and they're making it worse. You know, another unintended consequence was World War I, was the war to end all wars. How did that, you know, how did that go? Not very well. So, yeah, pretty frustrating, but I just need to keep putting my ideas. You know, I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but really I don't care, because, you know, I'm entitled to my opinions, and so is everyone else. And they can disagree with me, I can disagree with them. I'm just trying to, you know, maybe convince more people to think in a way that would probably be more beneficial. So, you know, darkness is falling upon London, in my opinion, and we're going back to medieval times. But at least the walls built in medieval cities back then were to protect people against invaders. Now we're building walls around London to protect ourselves from what? Congestion, which is it's actually making it worse. So, yeah, and let's also stop believing that central banks are a necessity. They're building more and more, you know, problems for our financial system. And the next time there's a crisis, hopefully they won't be around after that, because people will realize how, you know, they don't make sense. It's a moral hazard generator, central banks. So if you enjoyed this video, excuse me, give me a thumbs up, share it far and wide. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. If you'd like to donate to my channel, there's some links below in the description. Take care.